long before the engines, before the crowds, before the noise. There is only silence. An empty racing circuit does not feel abandoned. It feels as though it is waiting for someone willing to discover where talent ends and obsession begins. Ayrton Senna spent his life searching for that invisible line. But perhaps we have been asking the wrong question. People ask why he drove faster than everyone else, why rain seemed to make him untouchable, why he accepted risks others refused. Those are fascinating questions, but perhaps they are not the right ones. Because speed was never the destination. It was the consequence. The real question is this: when does the pursuit of perfection become self-destruction? Most stories begin with the numbers. 3 world championships, 41 Grand Prix victories, 65 pole positions. The statistics are extraordinary, but they cannot explain why rivals respected him so deeply, why mechanics trusted him completely, or why people who never met him still feel connected to his story. The simplest explanation is that Senna was fearless. It is also incomplete. Throughout his career, Senna openly acknowledged the dangers of Formula One. He knew how fragile the cars were. He knew one mistake could end everything. If he understood the danger, why keep searching for the limit? Those who worked with him described relentless discipline, hours of preparation, obsessive attention to every detail. That is not recklessness. Reckless people improvise. Senna prepared. Again and again. He once described moments when conscious thought disappeared and instinct took over. Whether those moments were spiritual or psychological remains impossible to know, but they suggest something remarkable happened whenever preparation and total commitment aligned. Perhaps that changes everything. Maybe Senna's defining quality was never fearlessness. Maybe it was the willingness to continue, while fully aware of fear. If that is true, then the greatest rival of his career was never Alain Prost, never Nigel Mansell, never Michael Schumacher. It was the impossible standard inside his own mind. And once someone begins chasing perfection, how do they ever know where to stop? The search for perfection did not begin in Formula One. It began long before the world knew his name. As a child in Sao Paulo, Ayrton Senna became fascinated by precision. His father introduced him to karting while he was still very young. Karting offered nowhere to hide. No advanced technology. No complex electronics. Every mistake belonged entirely to the driver. Those who raced against Senna remembered one defining quality. He was never satisfied. Winning was not enough. A fast lap was not enough. There was always another detail to improve. Many athletes chase victory. Senna seemed to chase something else. A state where machine, driver, and decision became one. Perhaps that explains why rain became his greatest ally. Most drivers saw chaos. Senna found clarity. This was not instinct alone. His preparation was relentless. He studied circuits obsessively. He refined braking points. He repeated every movement until it became instinct. When others were forced to think, he simply reacted. What looked like genius may have been preparation pushed to its absolute limit. Yet another contradiction emerged. Away from the circuit, life was rarely so controlled. His rivalry with Alain Prost became one of the defining conflicts in Formula One history. It is tempting to reduce that rivalry to heroes and villains. History suggests something more complicated. Both believed they were defending the integrity of the sport. The collisions at Suzuka in 1989 and 1990 remain deeply controversial. Some see calculated aggression. Others see uncompromising commitment. The evidence allows both interpretations. What seems clearer is this: Senna increasingly believed that perfection demanded complete commitment. Anything less felt like compromise. That philosophy produced extraordinary performances. But perfection has no finish line. Every victory became another expectation. Every championship another responsibility. The higher he climbed, the narrower the road became. And eventually one question became impossible to ignore. What happens when protecting perfection becomes more important than protecting yourself? In the spring of 1994, Formula One confronted a reality it had spent years trying to ignore. The opening races exposed growing concerns about safety. Then came the San Marino Grand Prix weekend. Roland Ratzenberger lost his life during qualifying. The tragedy deeply affected Ayrton Senna. The image of the invincible competitor suddenly became more complicated. The danger was no longer theoretical. It had entered the paddock. Evidence from those closest to Senna suggests he became increasingly involved in discussions about improving safety. He understood that every driver accepted risk. But acceptance was never the same as indifference. Then came Sunday. Lap 7. Tamburello. For decades, investigators have analyzed telemetry, mechanical failures, and track conditions. Some questions received answers. Others never will. History can reconstruct the accident. It cannot fully reconstruct the mind of the man inside the car. Perhaps certainty was never the point. Because Senna's legacy was not created in a single corner. It had already been built across thousands of laps. Through extraordinary preparation, extraordinary precision, and extraordinary commitment. The question we began with now returns. When does the pursuit of perfection become self-destruction? Perhaps there is no universal answer. Perfection itself is not the enemy. It drives innovation, discipline, excellence. But it becomes dangerous when identity depends entirely upon performance. When every achievement becomes another obligation. When stopping feels more frightening than continuing. The evidence suggests Senna was never simply chasing victories. He was pursuing complete mastery, a destination no human being can ever fully reach. Perhaps that is why his story still resonates far beyond Formula One. Almost no one will ever drive at 300 kilometers per hour. But almost everyone understands the temptation to believe that one more achievement, one more success, one more perfect performance will finally bring peace. Sometimes it does. Sometimes it only moves the finish line farther away. Perhaps that is Ayrton Senna's true legacy. Not that he transcended human limits, but that he revealed how difficult it is to live beside them. The empty circuit still waits. The rain still falls. And somewhere beyond the next corner, the question remains. Not whether perfection is possible, but whether we can recognize the moment when greatness begins asking for more than any human being should ever have to give.